What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. Tonight I have a few unboxings to do. I've been lucky to receive some great whiskey lately, but I have a special guest tonight because I don't like talking to myself, and I really like the guy that's on the other end of this camera. Jeremy, why don't you say hello?
Hey, everyone. How's it going? Good evening.
So you guys probably recognize Jeremy. He's been on the channel before. He writes for Toronto Whisky Society. All right. He's my favorite writer from Toronto Whisky Society for sure. Jeremy, when did you start again with Toronto Whisky Society? That's been pretty recent, right? Not that recent, but.
Yeah, I started, well, I joined the group probably early 2007. So it's been just over a year, I guess. And I started reviewing for them shortly after that. So I've been reviewing for about a year on their site and a member just over that.
Yeah. So you said 2007, but you meant 2017, right?
Yeah, I say that a lot. Yeah.
It's okay. I do that too. Over here, I have poured out the Balblair 1997, obviously. It is a single cask strength, 57.3%. Jeremy also has a Balblair, but it's bottled by an independent bottler, Gordon and MacPhail. You guys recognize that bottle. Jeremy, why don't you show it to them?
Yeah, this is what I'm poured myself tonight. It's the Gordon MacPhail Balblair, 49.6%.
All right, so there might be a quick sound intrusion here just because I'm gonna try to. There we go. Ha, got it. All right. So we got how many people so far? 20 people online. We have Tom R. What's up, brother? We got Rich. How's it going, buddy? Loch Ness. Whiskey Whistle's in the house. That's Mark. Everybody knows who Whiskey Whistle is. He has an awesome YouTube channel as well. Jason Fisk. And I say as well, assuming that I have an awesome whiskey channel, but I mean that Mark actually. Fisk, what's up? John Post. How's it going, brother? Richie. Actually, before I continue, I want to give a quick shout out to Richie Z. He's the man that allowed me to have this bottle by sending it up to Ohio for me. He went out to his local liquor store and picked it up. It is a beautiful Deanston 20-year-old cask strength. It's aged in Oloroso sherry. I am super stoked to open this bottle up. Richie, you're the man. I'm going to open it up right now. I'm going to pour it, and then I'll let it sit for a few minutes while we're drinking our Balblair.
So this Balblair that I'm drinking now is just unreal. I mean, I haven't done much damage to this bottle yet. Rob was saying earlier that this is that I had done much damage to it, but it's still there. It's opening up really nicely. The extra air in the bottle is just smoothed it. Just took that edge off just a tad, and it's so nice. It's so nice.
So we always joke about my fill levels on bottles because I have a heavy hand and I literally pour way too much per dram. So it's like I say to myself I'm having 1 dram, but it's actually like 2.5 because it's not quite 1 dram. Like that's my average pour. I guess I would say that's probably not bad.
Yeah, it's nice when you're pouring me whiskey. I don't return the favor as much. I pour reasonable drams.
Because you wanna have several different types of whiskey that night. You don't want to just drink 2 and then be done.
That's what I mean. I don't know. I guess that's what I poured for myself. It's just over ½ ounce, I would say.
Yeah. So that's about half of what I poured.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, so a few more shout outs. We got Scotch Test Dummies, Scotty. That's definitely you. Scotty's got my my maintenance crew little symbol next to him. He's always looking out for me when we go live and he's not actually in the chat, which I have him on pretty often too. That's crazy. What's up, brother? Claire the Third is asking why the stream is so effing late. Sorry, buddy. I have 2 very young kids that need to be put to bed and whatever, and then my wife as well. Like, usually doesn't stay up past 10, so it's nice to do it at this time because then everybody's sleeping. There's no sound interruptions or anything like that. So that's the reason, Claire. I apologize. Jim G, what's up, buddy? OJ for Hire, what's up, brother? Eric Wait, he also has a whiskey channel. Check him out. He reviews wine and whiskey. JK Van Fleet, what's up, brother? I'm assuming all these people are male, but that could be wrong. Eventually, I'm gonna say what's up, brother, and then they're gonna be like, no, I'm actually female. Bourbon Shenanigans. So Bourbon Shenanigans. I'm sure you're familiar, Jeremy, with the Scotch 4 dummies.
Yes.
So Bourbon Shenanigans is the 5th dummy. His name's Mike. He's starting a channel as well. He's going to be focusing on bourbon because the Scotch 4 dummies only focus on Scotch, or mostly anyway. So he's going to be doing that. Very cool guy. We got Santa Cruz and Chris. What's up, brother? I said John Post. David Ragland. What's up, brother? And I think I said everybody so far. All right. Well, any questions you guys have for Jeremy? Again, he's from Toronto Whiskey Society. Let me know in the chat and I'll read it. Do you have the chat popped up over there or no?
I have the chat up right now. So yeah, if you want to shoot a question, let me know.
Yeah. So
Jason is saying I'm surrounded by bottles. Yeah, I brought out a couple of my my favorite children tonight to say hello to everyone. So let me know if you have a question about what you see over here.
That's right. I also want to give another shout out tonight. I haven't seen him in the chat just yet, but hopefully he'll show up at some point. His name is Tamer. He's on Instagram. I'm going to find his Instagram and share that as well so that you guys can check out some of the bottles that this guy's got because his collection is absolutely unreal. It's ELTEEBZ. That's his Instagram. And he's in his collection right now. He has insane bottles. I'm not sure he wants me to share that publicly, but he sent me this bottle. He lives in Quebec. I think it's an SAQ exclusive. Not 100% sure, but super generous. This is bottled in 2017, so it's 20 years old. It's going to be cool to compare a Balblair 20-year-old single cask strength to a Deanston 20-year-old single cask, or well, cask strength anyway. Both of these, one is aged in Oloroso sherry, and then the other one is aged in ex-bourbon. So that's the difference, but going to be a cool little experiment tonight.
Oh, South Florida Pete lover in the house. Hey, what's up, man? I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Ah, that's awesome. What's up, brother? Which one do we have in the house? Honestly, South Florida Pete lovers are the originals for me. Like when I first started watching YouTube, before I had my own channel, before I was watching almost anybody else, I was watching them and I was watching Ralphie, and that's really pretty much it. And like they always reviewed the stuff that I was interested in, so I was watching their channel quite a bit.
Yeah, I watched all their videos. I love those guys. They're funny stuff.
They're funny, man. Good guys. And he's saying that he just picked up a Balblair. He said it's the one that I have here. So this is, I wonder, this is cask number 1108. So it might be a different cask, but probably very similar. This is ex-bourbon aged. 57.3%. Daydreaming, he has an awesome Instagram as well. Check him out. He's from Australia. Super nice guy. It's afternoon over there right now. So afternoon, you're allowed to have a dram, right, Jeremy?
There's no wrong time to drink whiskey, in my opinion.
I don't know. Whiskey with breakfast is a little odd to me. I haven't tested that one out yet.
Yeah, I think you just got to do it in spite of breakfast.
Well, it's like oatmeal, I guess, right? Kind of.
Just daydreaming. It's good.
You know, if 5 years ago you would have gave me a cask strength whiskey and told me to sip on it, I would have looked at you like you're an alien. Like, and that's not that long ago, but it's amazing how quickly a palate can adapt when you're drinking higher ABV stuff. Now it's so hard for me to go back down to 43% that like I literally will not buy anything at 40% anymore. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it.
I've grown, like I said, my palate's got to the point where I need the higher strength because I just want that bold, you know, that extra kick.
Yeah.
That extra stuff gives you, which, you know, 40% whiskey is just, it can be good, but it's not as good.
Yeah, it can be good. Like I'm sure there's incredible ones out there. Although, like, I'm always wanting that little bit more from them. So, and I hardly put any water in my whiskey. This one's a fruit bomb. This this ex-bourbon cask Balblair. Honestly, I haven't had a bad Balblair. How many have you had? Have you tried the 1990 yet?
I have not had the 90. I've had the 83, which is probably one of the best. And then this one. And I've had, I can't remember the other year now, but they've all been good. They've all been solid whiskeys. Balblair, they seem like they only bottle their best stuff and release it at their vintage dates, which is kind of cool the way they do that.
Yeah. They have a few at the LCBO, but literally every time they hit the shelves, they're gone. Like they don't stick around long. It's one of the lower known or the lesser known brands that sells out extremely quickly in Ontario for some reason. I'm not sure how the word got out about them, but.
Now, how's the pricing at the LCBO for those Balblairs? They're a little expensive, like compared to other parts of the world? Yeah,
so right now you can buy, and they have it in stock. So if you have any Nova Scotia connections, buy the Balblair 1990, which is, I think, the 25-year-old version in Nova Scotia for $165 taxes in, which is an absolute steal in my opinion. In Ontario, that exact same bottle, or it might be a year older because I think it might be bottled in 2016. That bottle is $290 or $295. So it's a big difference. We're talking almost double.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously shopping in Ontario is hard to do, so.
But that Gordon and McPhail that you have there, it's well priced considering it's a 24-year-old whiskey, but it's still not cheap, right? Like we paid an arm and a leg for those bottles.
Yeah, it's an expensive bottle, but I mean, when you compare it to other whiskeys, its age, and consider its cask strength, I mean, it's still a deal in my opinion. I mean, it kind of just depends on your preference, but if it's good and you justify the price, and I think the price is worth it for this one. We paid just under $300 for this whiskey.
Yeah.
You look at other stuff comparable in its price range. You look at a 25-year-old, you know, Highland Park, for example. You know, this is considerably less money, and it's bottled like cask strength and better in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing is like I was gonna ask you. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but how would you compare that to like some of the best whiskey you've ever tried? Like, I honestly don't know how many whiskeys I've had that's better than that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of keep it in its category, right? This is like a cask strength sherry bomb.
Yeah.
Something like the Macallan cask strength, also, you know, a sherry bomb as well. This whiskey, almost the same price, maybe a little bit more on the secondary market. And they're almost comparable. Like, I would give the edge slightly to the Macallan, but as far as the two best cask strength sherry bombs I've had, I think these two are right up there.
Yeah.
The two best I've had so far.
Interesting. Interesting that you would give the edge to the Macallan, considering it's probably substantially younger, right?
Yeah, I mean, 24 years old. This one, most likely under 10 years of age.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, I think it just speaks to the cask, right? I mean, you get a good cask, it doesn't matter how old it is. The whiskey can be good at, you know, 3, 4, 5 years old. It just, I'm just a sucker for Macallan. Not all Macallan, but I'm essentially like this one is something pretty special.
Yeah, I really like Macallan as well. So I'm definitely not gonna strongly disagree with you about your comparison of the two. I just really love that Balblair. I think it's incredible. I just want to give a quick shout out to Whiskey Throttle. He's been on my channel already, I think once or twice. Can't remember. I think twice. But I could be wrong. Anyway, check out his channel because this guy's collection is nuts. He's been doing it for way longer than I have, that's for sure. And his collection's insane. And slowly, in the next little while, we're gonna get to see what that's all about. So check him out. What's going on with the chat over here? We got Michael that I think just tuned in. He's saying that he likes the or just like the Deanston 10 Cask Strength PX. So I'm assuming that means he likes it. Honestly, the one that he's talking about, I picked up the last bottle in Ontario. I had purchased it a while ago, and then I recently picked up the last bottle. It's phenomenal stuff. Have you had a chance to try that one yet?
Yeah, I've had the Deanston 10. It's for the price. I mean, it's hard to beat that for the value, I think. I mean, I don't know what you're going to get that's that good at that price point at the LCBO. I don't think there really is much better.
Yeah. Just want to give a quick shout out to Scotty for the super chat. Thank you so much, brother. That's like, I don't know. We always joke about the Canadian dollar versus the American dollar, but like I feel like it's every time we talk, it's getting worse and worse. The Canadian dollar is like peanuts right now, so that's probably like $8 Canadian.
Swami's in the house. What's up, Swami? How you doing?
Hey, Swami, what's up, brother? Malted in Montreal. If you guys haven't already, check that out. Also, one of the newer whiskey reviewers, but doing a fantastic job, is Gustav from South Africa. His channel is The Whiskey Couch. He's tuned in just recently, or he's just made a comment recently anyway. Really super nice guy. I don't know if Narby is watching, but he told me he might. I know he's set to go on vacation, but malt reviews. Have you ever checked them out on YouTube, Jeremy?
Malt Reviews is one of my favorite reviewers on YouTube. I love how they have really unique bottles you'll never find anyone else review. So I'm glad they bring those bottles to light. It's really interesting to watch them dive into whiskeys. Yeah, their analysis, their tasting notes are spot on. Really interesting channel. So you definitely subscribe to them. They've got some good stuff.
Yeah, honestly, like what blows my mind is some of the stuff that they get. Like they buy most of their whiskey on auction, and their whiskey reviews, their whiskey knowledge, because of the stuff that they've tasted, is just way up there. Like probably higher than majority of us, just because they've tried ridiculously expensive whiskey, so they can actually say this is the best whiskey I've ever tried because they tasted a 50-year-old Dalmore, or like Springbank 12-year-old that has 35-year-old whiskey in it, because they brought down the ABV with low ABV 35-year-old Springbank. Like, who has the opportunity to try those things nowadays?
Yeah, it's really interesting to watch, because I mean they've got bottles there. Like one of their most more recent reviews was a Lefroy 10-year-old from the 1970s, and it's just super interesting to see like how that whiskey has changed since then, and what their opinion is on it back in the day, and during a time when whiskey wasn't as popular as it is now, and distilleries had to bottle some older stuff in their core range to sell the product, and how much just like different in their opinion, how much better it was decades ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like the thing is, we don't have that opportunity. Like, I mean, we can buy from auction, but it's so hard to actually get it here that it's not even worth it for us. Sometimes it's like, unless you know somebody in the United States, which is how I got this Deanston 20-year-old, and these two Elijah Craig barrel proofs. These, I've been talking about these for some time. This one is the one that a lot of people refer to as the unicorn. It's the 69.7 proof. What's happened there? I think there's a viral scan going on right now on my computer. And then there's the newer batch, and both of these were picked up for me by Lloyd, the beard. Really, really super kind of him. He went out, searched for them, picked both of them up, sent them to Ohio for me, and they've been sitting in Ohio at my friend's daughter's house for probably about, I want to say 5-6 months. Like, it's been a while. So I might open up one of these tonight, but I'm not 100% sure. I do plan on opening the newer one, but I don't think I'll ever open up this one. Or not, I shouldn't say ever, but I don't think I'm going to open up this one because I'm pretty sure this is a rare commodity nowadays. So we'll see.
Yeah, living in Canada, you're definitely limited with what you can purchase and what you can find. What I do, and I'm fortunate enough to have some family living in Michigan, and I also have a P.O. box at a UPS store in Port Huron. So I can ship stuff to that UPS store, and then if I'm ever visiting my family in Michigan or they're coming across the border, they can go and grab that for me. So it opens up some doors. You can get stuff from the UK, you can get stuff from the States, all shipped there, and then bring it across when you make the trip. But I mean, that's, you know, a lot of people don't have access to that, which is frustrating because obviously you're so limited with the LCBO and whatever else. So if you live close to the border, close to the U.S. border, look for UPS and look. You can rent a PO box there and ship stuff to them, and they'll hold it for you.
What's awesome is that if you live close to the border, you get like the benefit of both worlds. Like, you don't, like, yeah, we pay a lot of taxes here, but there's a lot of benefit as to why we pay those taxes. We get free healthcare, you know, our education is subsidized, all those different things. But then when you live at the border, you get like the groceries. You just drive across the border, grab groceries, gas, all these different things. So these guys are double dipping at the border. I know a couple people that are doing that.
Yeah, you party in the States and get sick in Canada. It's the way to live.
So Claire the Third is saying the Hazmat ECBP is the best batch. I'm not sure. Does mine count as the Hazmat one? I'm not sure. Is there a 70 or higher % one of the ECBP? Do you know, Jeremy?
I'm not familiar. No, I'm not sure. I know that their most recent batch has won some awards. And I was watching a video on the master distiller there, just raving about how proud he was that even, you know, their quality hasn't dipped, and their newest stuff they're bringing out now is just as good as the stuff they brought up before. So, which is nice to hear, and it's nice to hear getting awards because, you know, all that older stuff, that bottle you have there, probably won't be able to see it much longer, right?
Yeah. Well, just like as a price comparison, I think Lloyd picked this up for 70 American. I've heard prices recently as low as 50 American. I think that might have been one store or two stores on sale, but it goes for $150 at the LCBO. In Alberta, which is one of the rare times where we actually get something at a better price than they do, the only bottle I know of this ECBP is $185 plus tax. So I ain't paying that. I don't know who's going to pay that. I think that bottle is going to sit there a long time, to be honest with you, because there's no chance I would pay that for a new ECBP. I haven't seen him in the chat, but I think Swami said hello to him. It's Scott from My Bourbon Journey. If he's in the house, what's up, brother? Nice to see you. He has a really cool channel. He has some of the best bourbon you can think of. So, and like, these guys have access to incredible stuff in the States. Especially when it comes to bourbon, we're not as lucky when it comes to bourbon. That's for sure.
Whiskey Throttle wants us to stop poaching bottles from his province. Yeah, too bad. We're coming for all your whiskey there, bud.
You know what's funny is Daniel was on the receiving end of some long grow red Malbec 13-year-olds that I found, scouted, purchased, and he actually picked them up for us. So he took a couple and I took a couple. But I'm really pumped about that bottle. Have you tried the long grow red 13-year-old?
I've not, no.
So the Malbec is the one that came out in 2017, and then they're gonna come out with a Cab Franc. It's only 11 years old, so it's 2 years younger than the 2017 version, but also excellent. Apparently, I don't know. I haven't tried it, so I shouldn't really say it's excellent. All right, I'm moving on to the Deanston 20-year-old cask strength here. It says unchill filtered, exactly as it should be. 55.5%. I'm assuming this is entirely aged in Oloroso because it doesn't say anything else. Yeah, I'm going to read that in detail after, but I'm assuming it's entirely aged. I'll know by the review, but right now I just want to try it. And on the nose, this is insane. I'm loving Deanston right now. Like, this Deanston 18-year-old is excellent, but you gotta love when there's a little bit of Oloroso sherry involved.
What was the price for this bottle?
This bottle, I think it ended up costing me around 200 Canadian or American. I can't remember exactly, to get it shipped. You know what? Ask Richie if he's still in the chat. He'll know. I'll let you know what he says. How much did this cost me again? I can't remember. And Eric is correcting my pronunciation of the wine cask that's used for the new long grow. It's Cab Franc, I think he wants me to say. Franc. Man, the nose on this is beautiful.
There's Jason saying that he paid $145 for the bottle. That's a good price.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that makes sense. $187 including tax. Interesting.
What was the 10-year-old cask strength again? How much did that go for?
$80 Canadian.
$80, yeah.
At the LCBO. This has interesting palate. Add a touch of water. It has zero alcohol burn whatsoever, but it's very it might just because it's got a little bit of like travel shock. Eric was asking him the other day if there's such a thing as travel shock. I don't know. There might be.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but I mean, how are you going to know, really, right? I mean, take one bottle, let it sit, take another one and shake it up and see if there's a difference.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much the only way to do it.
Here's something that you might want to get, Rob. I just got an eyedropper to add water. You can literally just add drops at a time, 3, 4, instead of trying to pour from a water bottle.
I know. You're calling me out on my rookie water bottle, but I like the water bottle. I like the little like steady pour. You gotta have like steady hands, man. That's it.
Well, that's true. I mean, if you're trying to add some water to an expensive whiskey after a long live stream, it'd get a little.
Yeah, that's true. After a long, how about when we are already one drink in?
Well, since it's all cask strength, then yeah.
Eric White is saying that Cab Franc is a taxi driver. Whiskey Throttle is saying, how much does a new liver cost? And Richie's saying that this is entirely aged in Oloroso for 20 years. So it makes sense that there would be a little bit of like a sulfur type note, especially when you first open it. I'm probably gonna leave this open for a little bit, actually. We'll see how that goes.
All right, I'm gonna move on to something else. What should I drink?
Yeah, you should move on to something else. I think we said we were gonna move on to this last. Do you wanna? Actually, let's wait to talk about this. Why don't you tell them about what we're gonna be doing in the beginning of May?
Oh, yeah. If you're in the Toronto area, the annual Toronto Spirit of Toronto. It's a big whiskey festival. We do master classes. It's a big event. I did a review about it last year's on TorontoWhiskeySociety.ca if you want to check it out. But it's really awesome. It's an all-you-can-drink event. There's vendors from many different distilleries all over the world: Canadian whiskey, Scotch, bourbon, rum. Sometimes you get some cognacs, armagnacs in there. And yeah, I've been the last 2 years in a row. It's been great. Last year, I did a master class for Balbini. Had a whole awesome range of stuff there. The year before that, I did one with Ben Romick. It's always been super awesome. If you're in the GTA, there's tickets available. They're on sale right now. Definitely check it out. It's a good time. Rob and I will be there this year, so come find us.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to that Weiser's 35-year-old cask strength, because last year it was bottled at 50%. I haven't had a chance to try the 50% version. I'm actually working on picking up a bottle of it. But I can just imagine how good that cask strength is going to be. I have high hopes for it.
Yeah, so the masterclass that Rob and I are doing this year is the 2018 Northern Border Collection. So it's going to have the new Lot 40 cask strength. It's going to have the new Weiser 35 cask strength. Gordon Wirtz has like an 8-grain, I think, 8-grain whiskey, which I don't think's ever been done before, not that I'm aware of anyway. So it'd be interesting to try that one. And Dr. Donald Lamore, the master distiller, will be there doing the master class. So it'll be great to meet him again.
Do you know what
to see what they got?
What's that? Sorry, finish that.
Go ahead.
What do you know? What eight grains are going to be in there? Because like from the top, off the top of my head, unless you do malted and unmalted for like 4 of the mains.
I'm not sure. I don't know what grains he's going to be in there. Maybe quinoa will be one of them. I don't know.
I've seen oats. Oats has been in. I think there's a bourbon or an American whiskey company that does a whole bunch of different kinds of grains. So we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see, and we'll definitely pick his brain about what possessed him to essentially spill every grain that he could find into a mash bill. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be cool, I think. Yeah. Claire the Third is saying that he just got into the Cava Fan VIP club. We're both members of that.
Nice.
What are you as pumped about what's coming up as I am? Like, do you have any idea of what we should be expecting shortly?
Yeah, the next bottling for Cava Fan. Here's a Cava Fan bottling. This is their most recent one. This is the port. And the next one that they're going to bring out is a sherry cask. So usually these things are bottled a few years older than the regular Solus releases. This one's about 8.5 years, 8 years. Usually the ports come out about 6. So you get a little bit more, and they're just so good. The one guy that runs it, Larry, his palate's really good. He selects all the barrels himself, and so far he's 2 for 2 with what he's brought out so far. So yeah, definitely looking forward to the sherry Solus that he's going to come up with, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. I think that, like, if there's anyone for the job, it's Larry, because like if you see this guy's collection, it's literally all Cavalon. He's Canadian. He's from Winnipeg originally, moved to Taipei, married a woman from there. He's never coming back because she's a really pretty girl. So his literally like entire collection, other than some rare Japanese gems and a few rare Scotch gems, is almost entirely Cavalon. And he's tried basically every single one of them that there is. So we're getting the next best thing from the master distiller, basically tasting and picking a Scotch or a whiskey for us.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just commented if we have any trouble getting the Cavalans in the mail. Yeah, it is kind of a shady business getting it delivered, shipped through Canada. The bottles that I got came in without an issue. So, but I've heard some do get possibly held at the border. But yeah, I mean, it's worth the risk, in my opinion, because you're getting some really good stuff that only about 200 people are getting.
Yeah, exactly. That port cask it might be one of the best single casks I've ever had, like in line with some of the best sherry ones that I've ever had. So I don't know. Like I know that Scott had an opportunity to try it, and he absolutely loved it. You could tell just in his face that he was like, I don't know if you watched that live. He had it blind. Did you watch that one or no?
I did watch that, and Scott just mentioned in the comments that he was digging the port. It's really good. I mean, I'm a big fan of port matured whiskey, and this one is really good. I'm gonna pour some right now. Why not?
Yeah. Maybe I'll join you in a second. I'm just finishing up the Deanston. Right now, I'm gonna say that the Deanston needs a little bit of time to sit. You can tell that there's quality there. It's just for whatever reason it's a bit over sulfured at the moment on the nose and on the palate. I think that'll die down, to be honest with you. Like I think this is gonna be a stunner in about a week's time. Tom R was just helping me out there. He told me that, or he wrote in the chat that it's the Koval. Koval, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but they're the ones that do a whole bunch of different types of grain whiskey. Have you ever had anything by them?
No. I've seen their stuff around the shelves. Haven't had the opportunity to try it yet. But they do multiple grains, eh? Like more than 4?
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't remember the exact ones they do. I know they do a straight oat. They do. I'm not sure if they're following the straight American rules. Like 51% of it is oats, and then the rest is like a mix of other stuff. But they do an oat. They do a bunch of different ones. If I started naming them, I'm gonna make a fool of myself because I don't remember all of them. But I'm pretty sure they do like a whole bunch of rare ones and ones that we're not used to. That's for sure.
The Gordon and Worts, the 4 grain, it was a very interesting whiskey. I sampled that at a tasting. I don't think it was my favorite, but it was interesting. It was just like an educational dram, like you learn a lot trying to pick out the different grains, and it was good in that respect.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be buying a bottle of it.
Yeah, I think like the Trinity. Have you tried the Trinity, the 17-year-old?
Yes, I did have the Trinity.
So the Gooderham Trinity I liked. I thought that was the third best of the release. For me, it goes. Actually, I shouldn't say third best because I haven't tried the Weiser's 35-year-old yet. But the Lot 40 was first by far, and I think that's not going to change after I try the Weiser's 35. And then I think the Gooderham's next, and then the Pike Creek just didn't do it for me for whatever reason. I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, I thought the Pike Creek, just the 10-year-old, was a pretty decent whiskey for the price. I think I picked that up for $30.
Yeah, but I honestly like the 10-year-old better than the 21-year-old.
Yeah. I think that the price difference isn't worth it. I mean, you might as well go for the 10-year-old. This Calavan port is just so good. It's just like the fruits that come off the nose in this are just, they kind of just burst out of the glass. It's
insane. It's ridiculously good. Rob Horvitz is asking if this is second or third fill. I'm going to say that it's probably first fill, judging by how dark it is. But I could be wrong. There's no added color, as far as I know. There's definitely unchill filtered. I don't know. I'm going to say it's probably a mix of either like some first fill and then some second fill, but definitely not lower than that. You can definitely tell there's a beautiful amount of Oloroso in there. It's just the reason why mine is so light is because I've watered it down to probably about 48-ish%, maybe a little bit less. Starting to get better though.
Whiskey Throttle's making some noise in the comments right now.
What do you say? I missed it. So. I'm not going to repeat that.
I think Scott's only job is to censor him and Swami. They're the two that need observation.
So Elite is someone I haven't seen in the chat before. He's saying good day, mate. I'm assuming he's from Australia and it's probably afternoon for him as well. But those are a lot of assumptions.
Jason asking if there's much difference between the Cava Fan bottling and the regular Solus port. I haven't had a regular Solus port. I know that it reviews really well. I can say that this is phenomenal. I'm sure the other stuff is good too, but this one, again, is about 2 years older, and which doesn't seem like much, but you know, when it's 6 years versus 8, that's almost 35% or whatever it might be older.
Yeah.
So,
well,
the regular Solus is good.
So, Larry, the same guy we were just talking about, actually doesn't like the regular Solus port. He doesn't like port, and when they told him he had to pick a port, he was actually really upset. He tried this one, and he's like, he thought at first that it was sherry and that they were screwing with him. So he loved it, like he absolutely loved it from the moment he tried it. So, and there's a good reason why, because that's like one of my favorite whiskeys. It's awesome.
Yeah. So there you go. So there you have it. So someone who didn't like the port before loved this stuff. So I think that's all you really need to know about that. Travis is asking the Cavalan port versus the Mac tax strength. Well, I reviewed both of these bottles, and if you go to TorontoWhiskeySociety.ca, you can check out my reviews and my scores of these. They're very similar score. I did give the edge to the Mac. I would say, I mean, they're both big, bold, in-your-face whiskeys. Macallan just has that. It has that Macallan signature, like that oak tannin that almost every Macallan has that I love. So this one just got the slight edge to me. I think I rated this a 94 out of 100, which is my highest rating ever. And I gave the Calavan Solus a 93, so just a point less.
Wow, awesome. I recently gave a 93, and like I was teetering between a 93 and a 94. I'm not going to say which review, but it will be coming out shortly. I'm blown away by a whiskey that I never thought I would be blown away by. It's got a little bit of peat in it. It's only aged in ex-bourbon casks. It's over 15 years old. I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but it's phenomenal stuff. The video's coming out probably this Friday, so a little spoiler for those of you who are looking forward to that video. Jason is complimenting your hat.
Yeah, Rob was nice enough to gift me this hat, and it's kind of like came in my regular rotation. I don't just wear it for every time I'm on a show. I actually do wear this out. I actually get commented on it sometimes. The guy in the street, I don't know if he just saw the 6 and was like, yeah, Toronto, or yay, Drake, or if he actually recognized your channel, but he was like, nice hat, bro. I'm like, thank you, sir. So.
A few people have told me that actually, like especially people that live in the GTA. They're wearing my gear, maybe my shirt, my hat, whatever, and then like they'll get compliments or comments on it. So the thing is though, there's a lot of like six gear out there. Like there's like a few other companies that are kind of using that idea too. So I'm not the only one, but I believe other than Drake, I was the first actual like company to have a hat like that. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Does Drake actually have like the 6 branded apparel?
No, he's OVO. He's just OVO. He doesn't do
Right.
like 6 anything. He just, I think he was the first guy to call it the 6, and that's why it kind of caught fire. Especially because he works with the Raptors, so it kind of.
Yeah.
Sure.
Robert commented asking if the Macallan Classic cut where it fits in comparison. I was pretty disappointed with the Classic cut. Just because I had purchased this cast strength earlier, and I was hoping that this would be, somewhat comparable. And it's just, in my opinion, it's not there. It doesn't have that full richness. It falls a little short for me. The review of this one's up as well if you want to see it. I think I gave the Classic cut 85 out of 100, whereas opposed to 94. So a big difference in my opinion. But you like the Classic cut, Aero?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably where we differ, because for me, I absolutely love the Classic cut, especially like right off the hop when you first open that bottle. I feel like it does deteriorate a little bit with oxygen, which is weird because cast strength doesn't tend to do that, but I find it does get a little bit worse as the bottle like creeps down. But I like when you first open it, that first quarter for me was amazing. So, yeah. But to each their own, right? Like that's kind of what this is all about. So
yeah, absolutely. And I found this bottle in Florida it was on sale for $74.99 US, and for that price, it's a for sure buy. In Ontario, it's 150 Canadian dollars. At that price point, I would probably go with one of the editions, the edition 2 or 3, over this. Pay the extra $30 and grab that. But for $75 US, for sure, it's a good whiskey for that price.
So Tom R is asking what you think of this bottle right here. Where is it now? There it is. You have one right there next to yours. I haven't reviewed any Compass Box yet. I've tried the Enlightenment. I've tried the Hedonism. I do plan on reviewing them. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Compass Box Enlightenment is it's great whiskey. It's lighter, refreshing, really big fruit cocktail. If you're into Clynelish, if you like Clynelish at all, this is over half Clynelish, or about 45% Clynelish, I believe. And it's good stuff, really good stuff. I forget what I paid for this bottle, but it wasn't overly expensive. And yeah, really nice whiskey. If you want to switch it up, I drink a lot of like sherried whiskey and stuff like that. But if you want something heavy like melons and citrus, this one's really good. I like it a lot.
What are you drinking? You're drinking the Portwood there, right?
I'm still on the Cava fan.
Is that your second or your third?
This is my second dram.
Your second.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pump the brakes a little bit because I don't want this the end of.
By all means, keep going. Let's go.
Let's look at some of the comments over here. So most of these guys are just talking amongst themselves, which is what we do this for. It's a good opportunity for us to not feel like we're drinking alone. I know some nights that's why I tune into other people's lives, because it gives me an excuse to have a drink. So we got Scotch asking me to pop one of the ECBPs. Well, I feel like there should be some cowbell if I'm gonna pop one of those. What do you think, Scotty? Then again, he did activate the cowbell according to his. Are you familiar with the cowbell, Jeremy?
No, what's that?
So when someone super chats on Scott's channel or on the Scotch Test Dummies, one of them rings the cowbell, literally, and it's like it speaks to that Saturday Night Live skit with Christopher Walken where you need more cowbell. Have you ever watched that one?
Yeah, I love that. That's old school. That's old school SNL.
That's the best SNL episode of all time, probably.
I remember Jimmy Fallon could not keep his composure in that. That's a great episode.
So, Tom is saying you're making me want to pour a dram of Cava King Car PX cask strength. Is that the Solus? Tom, I'm guessing that's the Solus, right? I don't think the King Car edition is just PX, is it? And then Richie is asking if I'm going to be reviewing the Glencairn 15 soon. Yep, that's coming up very soon. I mean, it's on this table. It's opened. Hopefully, eventually. Jeremy always laughs at me whenever I say something's coming up soon because it never ends up coming up soon.
If you go back and watch Rob's videos in session, he always teases that his next pour will be this, and it never is, ever.
Yeah, now I've learned not to say what's coming up next because based on Jeremy's chirps, I've learned not to say what's coming up next pretty much. All right, I'm pouring this out, guys. I opened it up. This is the 62.1% version. ECBP 12-year-old. Let's give it a shot. That's going to be a little bit less generous of a pour because this stuff does some damage. Vegas Art. Here you go, Rob. A little cowbell. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. Cheers.
I think if you're going to do a barrel-proof whiskey or a bourbon, I'll do one as well.
Yeah, that's the one that I compare to this the most, to be honest with you, because that's my favorite. And that happens to be my old bottle, actually. So why don't you show them what you're pouring?
Yeah, I can thank Rob for this one. We traded for this. This is the William LaRue Weller. This is the 2017.
Clear the Third is saying I'm a big tease. I don't know. I don't know where you're going with that one, buddy. Man, the nose on the ECBP is just redonkulous, though. I wonder, do you know if this is the same mash bill as the regular Elijah Craig 12-year-old?
I don't know that for sure. I want to say yes. I mean, why would they do different mash bills for their 12 and their 12 mash bill? So I would say, yeah, it is the same. Because
with the 12 bottle that I think it's 47% or something like that, I pick up a ton of like pickle, like dill pickle, whereas thank you, Santa Cruz and Chris, you're the man. I appreciate it, brother. This is okay. So Jeremy and I were talking before we went on live that there are two bottles that are probably sitting somewhere. I don't want to be too specific, but we're hoping that they either come to me or make it back to Chris. But we don't know if this is going to happen. But Jeremy gave me some hope tonight because he said that it's happened to him before where bottles were held and then they ended up being released. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, Chris. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than watching like a FedEx tracking number just say, you know, pending, waiting, release from customs. It's stressful. I hate it. But I'm a lucky one because my bottles did get held by customs and they were eventually released and I did eventually get them. But that 5 days, it was tough.
You sweat it out. You sweat it out a little bit.
Yeah.
I just have this like load of guilt. I'm just like, I just hope that it makes it either back to him or gets through to me. Like I hope one of us get to enjoy it, not the Canada Customs Christmas party.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if anyone there knows, I mean, I don't know, do they? I guess they opened the package, right? Because it was weird. Because my package that I got that was held by Customs, it didn't appear to be opened at all. It didn't appear to be opened or retaped. It just looked like it was sealed. So I don't know if they what they did with it.
I think if they scan it, they make you sweat a little bit because depending on what the courier is, they technically are not supposed to seize anything that's not Canada Post. So I think if they scan it and they realize that it's probably something that we're not supposed to have, but it's not illegal, they're like, all right, well, let's let this sit in the warehouse for a little bit, let them sweat, and then we'll let it out. I think,
yeah, they just send a message through the delay.
Yeah, actually, now that it's opening up, I'm getting that dill pickle actually. So you're probably right. It probably is the exact same mash bill.
Yeah, I think Scott commented saying that it was the same mash bill. The barrel proof or whatever is 12 years old, where the new stuff is no age statement now, right? They took the 12 year off of it.
That's crazy. He's asking me if we can trade a Malted in Montreal shirt for a Whiskey in the Six hat. I'm already trading a Whiskey in the Six shirt for a Malted in Montreal shirt. We're gonna do a swap. So unfortunately, Mike, I can't hook you up there. Maybe if you print out like, I don't know, what's fair, like 10 Whiskey in the Six shirts, but like custom made with like some cool slogan at the back or something, then I'll send you a couple hats and maybe even a sweater. So
you like that stuff? You like it better than the 12, obviously, right?
Yeah, so it's better than the 12. I mean, it's barrel proof, so it's always going to be better at barrel proof. A lot of people like the Stag Junior over this. I think this is better than Stag Junior, but I do think that Weller that you're drinking right now is the best of the bunch. I think I haven't tried Pappy Van Winkle 15-year-old. I think the ABV on the 15-year-old is probably the only one I'd spend the money on as far as like unless I'm getting it for retail, of course. But the 15-year-old at that ABV, I'd be very curious to see what that tastes like. Other than that, I think the William LaRue Weller, I don't think there's a better whiskey out there as far as bourbon goes. Sorry.
Yeah. I've had the Stag Junior. The George T. Stag was one of my favorite bourbons of all time. And when the Stag Junior came out, I grabbed a bottle. I grabbed batch 4, and I was just very disappointed with it. I did not really like it that much at all. It had a glimpse of what you got in the George T. Stag, but it just wasn't there for me. I guess I was maybe trying to compare it to its bigger brother, and I shouldn't have. But
it's natural to do that. I think the Stag Junior is a bit too young, but it's still really good. Like I still really enjoy it. I still have a bottle on hand, and I plan to always have. Whenever I see it at the LCBO, I'll pick up a bottle because it's still relatively reasonable in price.
Yeah. So Claire the Third saying that you got to get a good batch of Stag Junior. What are the good batches of Stag Junior? Because I had batch 4 and I did not like it at all. So,
so Claire is saying that because what he plans to do is send me a bottle of one of his many George T. Stags. Oh no, he was saying Stag Junior. Sorry, my whole coercing him into sending me one of his George T. Stags just fell through the drain there.
This is the part of the live stream where the alcohol takes over.
Yeah, it's starting to kick in for sure. We still have 36 going strong. A little lighter than most weeks, but 36 is still a great crowd. So And no, that's not true, Claire. I'm not actually, but I do have to finish this. So why don't you explain what's going on with this little sample that I have here, because I don't know how much more alcohol we can have after that.
All right. Well, yeah. Let me get into to a little side project that I did. I took a 1 liter barrel, this barrel actually, filled it up with port, let it sit for a month and a half. Then I took Lefroy 10-year-old and dumped that in there. And what I came up with was this. I bottled this for my whiskey group. This is Super Social Club is another whiskey group that I'm in that I kind of started. And I made 6 just mini bottles of this for each member. And it turned out really, really good. It's Lefroy 10-year-old, finished in port. You get everything you get with Lefroy 10, plus you get just that little bit of extra fruit. You get like a little strawberry, raspberry, a little extra oak. And it turned out really cool. It's kind of, I made my own labels, named each one, did like the wax top on it. It's I'm super biased, but I think it's good whiskey.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna try it very shortly. Got a clean glass right here. I'll pour that out. Mike B is asking if anyone else has tried or has the Abuna Balblair batch 54. I have the batch 58 over here. Have you tried the batch 54?
I've had batch 58. I had batch 58 last year at Spirit of Toronto and really liked it. One of the best batches that I can remember trying. I know I had batch 50 and maybe, I don't know, one other one. But 58 I remember being good.
Swami is commenting on how talented you are for making those bottles and the port cask there.
Thanks, Swami. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a super easy thing to do, and it's just like kind of fun. And you know, you kind of say that you kind of made your own whiskey or finished your own whiskey, and you use a bunch of the things. Like port is one of my favorites, but put something in a sherry cask or whatever else. And here's the port I use.
Yeah, that's the one I see all the time at the LCBO there.
Yeah, so this one, it's not expensive. It's you know, $14 or whatever. Just late vintage bottled port. It's it just works well with the cask, in my opinion. It just seasons it pretty well. You can kind of see here how the port's kind of just oozed through the wood. I let it sit for a long time, and it's good results. So you can pick up one of these barrels. I found this one in the States for about, it was around $40 US for the barrel, including shipping. And then, yeah, about $14 for the port. And then I just dumped in a couple bottles of Lefroy, and it worked out well. I think you want to pick a whiskey that's just ex-bourbon matured only. I don't think it would work as well if you put a sherry whiskey in the port cask. It might be too conflicting of flavors. But my next one I'm doing an Ardbeg 10-year-old. So that's my next barrel. I'm gonna get another barrel and do this again with Ardbeg.
I'd be curious. Like, I have a cask upstairs. It's 10 liter. 10 liter or 5 liter? I can't remember now. I think it's a 5 liter actually. There's sherry wine inside of it right now. Have you tried the port at all since you poured it out, or not really?
Yeah, when I first dumped the port, I did try some of it, and it just picked up a little bit of oak from the barrel, maybe like a little too much. I mean, I'm not a big port drinker or wine drinker, but it was good, and it was just kind of interesting to try it. I mean, once I dumped out the Lefroy, I put more port in and reused this barrel, and I did another bottle. I did a bottle of Balvenie. Here it is. So this is what I did after the Lefroy. So it had a little bit of peat, it had a little bit of Lafroig influence still in the barrel. And this Balvenie 12-year-old single cask, it picked up some of that peat, and it turned out really nice too. So this was the second bottle I did. And the port that came out after the peat was in there with the Lafroig was actually really good. I sipped on that for a while. So that little, just a little hint of peat into the port wine, it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Good, actually. So, did you notice a difference in color in the port? Because I think port's a little darker than sherry, to be honest. But the sherry that I have in my wine or my cask upstairs, I gave it a good shake to make sure that it's like, you know, fully mixed, and then I poured it into a glass just to try it, and it was like whiskey color. It was like that. It looked like that. You know what I mean? So I was kind of surprised. I don't know.
What you're saying is the port changed color in the cask?
The sherry, it looks lighter than I remember it being when I poured it in. So I mean, I didn't really have a good look at it when I poured it in. I just assumed that it would be darker, not lighter. It probably didn't. It probably didn't get lighter. It probably just didn't change. And the fact that it's not. How many bottles did? So in the 5-liter cask, I put 5 bottles. It fits up to 7, but I figured I'm just seasoning the barrel, so I didn't have to put all 7 bottles in there. I don't know. And I turn the barrel regularly so that it gets. Sorry, Eric Waite was asking that question. How many bottles?
So Eric, essentially, I don't know if you're asking like how much like will evaporate or whatever. If you fill the barrel pretty much to the top, you're not going to get much evaporation. I tried one. I had a half bottle of something that I threw in an old cask, and it evaporated a lot. Like it evaporated almost half in about 3 weeks. So if you're doing this, 1-liter barrels work well because you can reuse them over and over. Like this one that I did with the Lafroig, I put 3 bottles of Lafroig in here. The first bottle I put in for 2 days, put it in the Lafroig, took it out. The next bottle of Lafroig for 3 days, and the bottle after that for 4 days. So essentially, it just takes a small amount of time once you're finishing the whiskey. And again, the port was in there for about 3 months, or sorry, for three to 6 weeks. So the port really got sucked into the wood, and then once you put the Lafroig in, it just a couple days is all you need. It just gives it that nice little finish, and you can tell by the color. I mean, it picked up that color. That was about 2 days, 3 days worth, and they got the full color right in there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like, I think port is a little darker, to be honest with you. I'm sure there's darker versions of sherry. Maybe the sherry I put in there was a little bit lighter. Not 100% sure, but it has a really nice peat nose. I'm smelling it right now. I just poured it out. Are you drinking it right there?
Yeah, so this is what I have here now. So what I'm getting here is like, it's kind of the peat that you get with the Lafroig, a little bit of extra oak, and then those like fruit notes, the strawberry, a little bit of raspberry perhaps.
Claire is making fun of the way we say out and about.
Oh, oot and a boot.
Yeah, that's what they think we say it like, but we don't actually say it that way.
You hear Canadians talk like pure hoser, and that's what they say, right? Oot and a boot or whatever else. But no, we weren't saying out and about, were we? Out and a boot.
Santa Cruzan is asking me how many drams I've had. I guess it's catching up to me pretty quickly here. I'm on the peat one though. I honestly don't feel as bad as I probably sound. So
So what do you think? You like this? Did you try it?
I haven't tasted it yet. The nose is beautiful. It's got like a peat and bubblegum kind of nose.
Yeah.
Right? You think it lost a little bit of ABV being in the barrel?
That's a good question. And maybe slightly. Yeah. I don't know if it would lose more than a couple percentages. I mean,
well, it wasn't that long, right? You said how long was it in there for?
So I did 3 total bottles of Laphroaig 10, and the first bottle was in there for 2 days, second bottle for 3, and the third bottle for 4. So it really picked up a lot of the port influence right away. I took all those bottles and batted them in one giant container. So everything came out the exact same, every bottle with the exact same stuff. So yeah, really quick. And you can use these over and over again, like I did with I put a couple bottles of Balvenie in it afterwards. So once you season this with the port, and I left it in for a month or more, you can really use this over and over again. That's why I like the 1 liters, because I don't know if there's a point in getting like a big barrel if you're going to not be using it for multiple bottles.
Yeah, for sure. John Belushi's asking how much the Balblair 1993 Gordon MacPhail cost us in Canadian. You're looking at about $300 if you buy it from Alberta, probably more everywhere else. I'm not 100% sure if you can find it anywhere else in Canada, but it's definitely worth the price because it's phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, I saw a bottle of it in Australia. It was about 395 Canadian dollars.
Wow. Yeah. Australia actually tends to be a little bit more expensive than we are here in Ontario for the most part. Some things they get better deals on. We get Australian whiskey or Tasmanian whiskey at like obscene prices. Like we can't get a Sullivan's Cove for less than $100. Have you ever tried any Sullivan's Cove?
No. That's Australian whiskey?
It's Tasmanian.
Okay.
I believe. But yeah. It's supposed to be amazing. I've never had a chance to buy a bottle because the one that's bottled at 40% is about $90 in Alberta, so a little too much for what I'm willing to spend on something that's bottled at 40%, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to take a risk on something like that, You'll have to get a sample before you buy.
So Mark from Whiskey Whistle is back. Yeah, we're going a little bit longer than usual. We're approaching 12 o'clock. That's only because I'm taking the day off tomorrow because I have some errands to run with the family. So, what time do you work tomorrow, Jeremy?
Tomorrow I'm not working until 3 in the afternoon, so I'm good to go.
Are you willing to share what you do exactly, or?
Yeah, sure. I work for TSN. I work in master control as a technical director. So essentially, everything you see that goes to air on TSN, I have my finger on that. Essentially, all the feeds that go through, all the commercials that you see, they run through us in master control. And essentially, I watch sports for a living all day long. It's a pretty job.
Pretty amazing. It's an awesome job. TSN is like the broadcaster for sports in Ontario, especially. I'm pretty sure that's everywhere in Canada. Sportsnet is the other bigger one, but TSN has, especially if you're a hockey fan, TSN has like the best analysts, the best like commentators, that sort of thing. And it's a big year for hockey in Ontario, because the Leafs are looking pretty good and they're getting into, well, they're in the playoffs. They'll be playing, I think, Tampa Bay first round, right?
Is that been determined yet? I'm not sure. I think they can still get some wiggle room left.
I think it's still up in the air, but it's looking like it's most likely Tampa Bay first round.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially TSN is it's like the Canadian ESPN. The best way to explain it to people in America.
Yeah, that's probably how I should have put it. ESPN still exists in Canada, obviously, but you have to pay a little bit more to get ESPN, whereas TSN is our main broadcaster. Yeah,
and ESPN owns 15% of TSN, and TSN does air a bunch of ESPN shows. We air like stuff like PTI, those like talk block kind of shows, or TSN way of those people.
So Claire the Third is saying that the Capitals are gonna win it all. Pretty sure with that choke show of Ovechkin over there, I don't think they're gonna be winning too much. I don't know. My guess is the Pens probably repeat for the third time.
Really? I don't think so. Pittsburgh has been so inconsistent this year. I mean, it's really anyone's game, but I'm back in the Leafs. I think I'm gonna say it. I'm calling the Leafs are gonna win the cup.
That would be amazing. I don't think they're ready for it yet. They have a lot of young players. I'm like a longtime Leaf fan. I mean, you've seen my basement. I don't want to turn my camera around because I'm for fear of dropping my camera, but I'm a huge Leaf fan, and I just can't see it. Maybe just because I call being a Leaf fan similar to like battered wife syndrome. We've put up with so much for so long that like you just assume the worst at all times, but we keep coming back.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it is what it is, right? But think about how crazy this city will get if the Leafs hoist the cup. I mean, it's going to be just, a month-long party, and I just want it to happen because it would be awesome. And we'll go live from, Maple Leaf Square. And
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's definitely going to happen 100%. Obviously I don't like comparing Toronto to New York because New York has, I don't know how many more. I think it's, 40 million people in New York, and there's almost 10 million people in Ontario or something like that. Like in the GTA, there's 7 million people. But if the Leafs were to win the Stanley Cup, it's the equivalent of like the New York Yankees winning, the baseball championship or whatever.
The World Series. Well, I mean, it's not though, because the Yankees win the World Series all the time, and they've won it so much in the past. Last time,
the Red Sox then when they won the World Series.
Okay, yeah, sure. Or the Cubs. I mean, you could. Well, we're not as bad as the Cubs, but yeah, the Cubs, they're super long drought. It would be something like that, like on epic proportions. I mean, it's just I want it to happen so bad.
Yeah, like we're over 50 years now without a cup, or we're just approaching. I think we're over now, right?
Yeah, no, well over. I think it was like mid-50s the last time the Leafs won.
I think 64 was the last time they won.
Was it 64? Okay. Yeah.
Something like that. Either way, the viewers dwindled quite a bit in that hockey conversation. Most of my viewers are American. I think it's like 48% American, 17% Canadian, and then the rest of the world shares the rest of that portion. So
yeah,
majority of these people are probably yawning. And but although I will say a few of the Americans I know really like hockey as well. So I don't know. I really like this Lefroy 10 Sipper Social Club special. Good stuff. I gotta say, like, I couldn't tell. I knew there was wine cask influence, but like, if you had to like give me that blind, there's no way I would have been able to say that that's port. You know what I mean?
Really? Yeah. I mean, it's weird with port, right? Because I mean, if you lined up a port whiskey and a sherry whiskey, I think it'd be hard just to determine the difference, regardless, right? Because they both share a pretty similar characteristics, but I think port and peat just work so well together in this instance, anyway.
Yeah.
I originally did this because I wanted the Lefroy cartridge, the 2013, I believe, was the one they did with the port. 2013. Anyway, that one's in regard.
Is Madeira, right?
Sorry.
The 17 was Madeira, or the 16 was Madeira?
16 was Madeira. The 17 is the cask strength porter.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're good on this, and I don't know if I should have any more drams live because I think that could get really messy really quick. And Scott's telling me that if he was able to kick me off, he would have kicked me off already. Because but I want to thank you for joining me tonight. It was kind of last minute. Well, not that it was kind of last minute. It was as last minute as it gets, and you were more than willing. but I want you to stay on the line. Before you go, though, Tamar is saying more. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about Toronto Whisky Society?
Yeah, Toronto Whisky Society. Great group of people here in the GTA. We get together, do tastings, bring in brand ambassadors to do like master classes. Most recently, we did one with Balvini. We tried some awesome whiskey there. Jamie Johnson is the brand ambassador. She brought a huge lineup, including the 30-year-old. Next up, we're doing a tasting with the brand ambassador for Lefroy. Bringing some really nice stuff as well. That's next month. Check out the website. I review whiskey there. There's lots of members who also post the reviews there. So it's a huge collection of whiskey reviews. And if you're looking to join, if you're in the GTA, you want to join Toronto Whisky Society, go to the website, submit your application, get on the waiting list, and come drink some whiskey with us. It's a good time.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of cool events. Some of the coolest, like what I've seen so far is you guys get invited to like some of the coolest events that I've been to. So every time I go to an event and I see you guys there, I know that you guys are making some waves and making some noise in the Whisky Society in Toronto because, like I said, you're invited to every single one that I've been to, and probably a lot more because I'm sure that you've been to a bunch where you haven't seen me. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Seattle 206723. He reviews whiskey. He reviews cognac. Probably the best cognac I've ever seen reviewed. Super nice guy. Cool channel. He also does a whole bunch of stuff with like guns and collectibles, like coins and stuff like that. So cool channel to check out if you guys haven't already. Seattle 206723. That's the channel. Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on tonight, brother. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. This Lefroy was good stuff. I really enjoyed it. I like the 10-year-old. This definitely amps it up a little bit with that port influence, in my opinion. So,
thanks for having me on. I was honored to be on your channel again.
All right, brother. Stay on the line, and we'll say bye to everybody. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you joining tonight. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.